When it comes to photography, there's something I've really been thinking about lately, and I find it pretty interesting. So, I did a photo shoot for a 1-year-old the other day. I went to school with his mom, and she knows me through social media, so she asked me to do the photo shoot, which is great. But then I started thinking, I was like, when I get done with this photo shoot, these photos are gonna get printed and put on her wall, right? And then one day, maybe 20, 30 years from now, this young man is grown up and he's getting married. And his wife is gonna see these photos potentially, right? They're gonna be on the wall. He's gonna get to show what he looked like when he was a baby, when he was 1. And then not only that, but whenever they get older and they have their own kids, they're gonna have this photo that I took 25 years ago. And whenever they have their own son or daughter, they're gonna be, wow, you look just like your dad whenever he was 1. And I think that's so interesting that something that I created, something that I made, is gonna be printed out, put on a wall, and is gonna be seen and compared with future generations. And I just find that extremely fascinating. And it's got me thinking as like, when it comes to photography, everyone has a camera, on their cell phone now. We take photos and we put them on the internet. And that's great, and that's all fine and dandy, right? I think I love social media. I think it's a great tool, it's a great resource. But there's one thing that I've noticed that people don't really do anymore, and that's printing physical products, whether that be a framed print on your wall or a photo book, whatever, right? People don't really do that as much as they used to. And it's not really that expensive for the most part. There's tons of really affordable ways to get prints, but whenever I was a young man, whenever I was 6 to 8, maybe 12, things like that, my mom would always have photo books. We had a whole shelf full of photo books from us growing up. Anytime I'd get a girlfriend or a serious relationship like that, they'd come to the house and, we'd pull out the old photo albums, But I always found that extremely enjoyable. But it seems nowadays, we don't really do that. And I think it's something we need to bring back. Because one day you or your kids or someone is gonna get married, and when you go to that parent's house or whatever, seeing those photos, it gives this nostalgic feeling that you don't get from any other things. You can pull up social media posts and see photos, and that's fine. But that tangible product on the wall, I think that it's different. It hits different. Whenever I was younger, probably around 22 or so, a hurricane come through. I live in Texas, so a hurricane came through and I lost all of our old photo albums, all of our old photos, everything got washed away in the hurricane. It's really sad, but one thing is I noticed I never replaced all that stuff. I do occasionally make prints for the wall and things like that, but anyways, something to think about, All of you out there who like photography or starting out, start printing your work. I think you might be surprised how much of a difference it makes. Anyways, see you on the next video.